Ethan Parker stepped off the transport and felt the alien air wrap around him like silk. The planet looked alive, unlike anything he had ever seen. Trees with glowing leaves swayed without wind, and the sky shimmered with colors that seemed to move. Strange creatures flew past, their wings glinting in the light. Ethan's heart pounded. He had trained for diplomacy, but nothing could prepare him for the reality of being on Xylaria, the planet ruled by the alien princess. The palace loomed ahead, its towers spiraling into the sky. Ethan could see the walls shimmer slightly, as if the stone itself was alive. He swallowed hard and walked forward. Around him, the alien guards moved gracefully, their blue skin glinting under the light. They wore uniforms that seemed simple but held an elegance that humans could not match. Every step Ethan took felt heavier than the last. He was far from Earth, far from the humans who relied on him, and yet he had to keep calm. "Welcome, human," a voice said. Ethan turned and saw a young alien woman standing at the entrance of the palace. She was tall, with long silver hair that flowed over her shoulders. Her eyes were green and seemed to look into his soul. She smiled slightly. "I am Princess Lyra. I hope your journey was not too difficult." Ethan nodded. "Thank you, Princess. It was long, but I am honored to be here." Lyra tilted her head, watching him closely. There was a strange intensity in her gaze. "Honored, yes, but you must remember we value strength and wisdom here. You are in my world now." Ethan felt a chill. He had expected polite words, not a subtle warning. "I understand," he said. He tried to keep his voice steady. She nodded once and stepped aside. "Then come. I will show you our palace." Ethan followed her, careful not to look too nervous. Inside, the palace was breathtaking. The floors shimmered as if made of water. Light flowed through the walls, forming patterns that changed every few seconds. Ethan's eyes kept moving, trying to take it all in. As they walked, Lyra spoke softly. "Humans are interesting. You are small compared to us, yet you carry courage in ways we often overlook." Ethan blinked. Thank you, Princess. We try our best." She smiled faintly. "Try? I will soon see if you do more than try." Her words made him uneasy. He felt that she was testing him already. They arrived at a large hall where alien nobles and officials were gathered. Ethan felt their eyes on him, curious, suspicious, and some openly doubtful. He straightened his back. Humans were often underestimated, but he had a job to do, and he would do it well. Lyra led him to a small platform. "You will speak to our council," she said. "Tell them why humans should be trusted in Xylaria." Ethan nodded. He stepped forward and felt the eyes of 100 aliens on him. He cleared his throat. "Honored council members, I am Ethan Parker from Earth. I come as a diplomat to build understanding between our people and yours. Humans may be young in the galaxy, but we have learned to adapt, to survive, and to help each other. We seek peace, and we hope to show you that trust is possible." The council members whispered among themselves. Ethan's voice did not falter, though his hands were slightly shaking. He knew this was his first test, and he had to make an impression. One of the council members, tall and silver-skinned, stepped forward. "You speak well, human, but words are easy. Action is more difficult. Can you prove your worth?" Ethan nodded. "I can. I do not fear challenges, and I am willing to learn from you." Lyra watched him silently. Her green eyes studied every movement he made. Then she stepped closer and said softly, almost like a whisper, "Have you forgotten who I am?" Ethan froze. He blinked at her. Her gaze was intense, almost electric. His heart skipped a beat. "No, Princess. I could never forget you." Lyra's lips curved slightly. "Good. Remember this as you walk in our world. Every step is watched. Every choice matters. Do not disappoint me." Ethan swallowed hard and nodded. He realized that she was not just a princess, she was a ruler who could see through people. Her words were a reminder that he was a guest, and that humans could be fragile in such a powerful alien society. The council member spoke again. "Very well. There is a test of skill you must undergo. It is not meant to harm you, but to see your ability to think, to act, and to survive." Ethan felt his stomach tighten. He had trained for diplomacy, but this was something else entirely. He followed the council members to a large room filled with floating platforms and strange devices. Lyra walked beside him, her presence both calming and unsettling. "Do not fear," she said softly. "Watch carefully, think quickly, and do not underestimate yourself. Humans have a way of surprising us, even when we think we know everything." The test began. Ethan had to cross a series of moving platforms while avoiding traps and solving simple but strange puzzles. The first few steps were difficult. The platforms moved faster than he expected, and he had to time his jumps carefully. One misstep would send him plummeting into a soft but dizzying pit below. He remembered his training: slow, steady, careful, and then quick when needed. He focused on each step, feeling the tension in his muscles, listening to the soft hum of the alien technology. Lyra watched him from the side, her expression unreadable. Ethan could feel her eyes on him, noticing every move. He felt a mix of fear and pride. Fear because he could fail, pride because he knew humans could adapt. As he reached the middle of the challenge, a platform shifted suddenly. Ethan jumped and landed safely, his heart racing. He saw a council member raise an eyebrow in surprise. He could feel the tension in the room, and a strange confidence began to grow inside him. He solved the final puzzle, sliding a glowing crystal into its correct place. The platform stopped moving and a door opened. Ethan had completed the challenge. Lyra approached him, her eyes bright with interest. "Well done," she said softly. "You did not fail. That is, more than I expected." Ethan nodded, breathing heavily. "Thank you, Princess. I only tried my best." She smiled faintly. "Your best is acceptable. Remember, humans have courage that surprises us. Do not forget that, and do not forget me." Ethan's chest tightened. Her words carried a weight he could not fully understand. It was not just a reminder of her power, but of something personal, something he could not ignore. After the test, Lyra led him back to the palace hall. The council members whispered among themselves, some nodding in approval, others still skeptical. Ethan felt exhausted but proud. He had shown that humans could adapt, even in a world so different and dangerous. Lyra walked beside him quietly. "You did well, human," she said softly. "But this is only the beginning. The galaxy is full of challenges, and your people must be ready. Do you think you are ready for what comes next?" Ethan looked at her, feeling the weight of her question. I will do my best, Princess. That is all I can promise." She nodded, her gaze lingering on him. "Your best may be enough. Sometimes it is humans' courage and heart that change the course of events. Remember that, and remember me." Ethan's mind spun. This world was strange, full of danger and beauty, and Lyra was at the center of it all. He felt both fear and fascination, a mix that made it hard to breathe. He knew that his journey on Xylaria was just beginning, and that every choice, every step, every action would matter. As he looked around the palace, he realized that humans were not weak, not really. They could face these challenges, think quickly, and survive. And maybe, just maybe, he could earn the respect and trust of beings far more powerful than himself. Lyra's presence stayed with him, soft yet strong, a reminder that even in a world of alien power, humans could make a mark. Her words echoed in his mind. "Have you forgotten who I am?" He could never forget. and he knew, deep down, that he would have to be stronger than ever to meet the expectations of the princess, and of himself. Ethan Parker stood taller, breathing deeply, feeling the weight of responsibility, fear, and excitement. He was a human in a world of powerful aliens, but he was not weak, and he would prove it. Ethan Parker woke early in the palace guest quarters, the strange light of Xylaria filtering through the translucent walls. The room was large and elegant, but it felt foreign, almost unreal. He could still feel the tension of the previous day. The test, the council, and most of all, the gaze of Princess Lyra. Her words, soft and deliberate, echoed in his mind. "Have you forgotten who I am?" He had not forgotten. How could he? She seemed to hold the weight of the world in her calm, green eyes, yet there was a spark of something else. A curiosity, a challenge, and perhaps something personal he could not yet understand. After a simple breakfast, a kind of nutrient paste that was surprisingly tasty, Ethan was escorted to the palace gardens. The gardens were vast, filled with glowing plants, floating fountains, and paths that twisted in impossible ways. Ethan had walked through impressive landscapes before, but none like this. The air was sweet and warm, carrying a soft hum that seemed alive. Birds with translucent wings flew past, leaving trails of shimmering light. He could feel his pulse quicken with awe. Lyra appeared at the edge of the path, her silver hair flowing in the gentle breeze. "Good morning, human," she said softly. "I hope you slept well." Ethan bowed his head slightly. "I did, Princess. Thank you. The palace is unlike anything I have ever seen." Lyra smiled faintly. "It is home to many wonders, but it is also a place of rules and expectations. You will learn that quickly." She stepped closer, walking beside him as they explored the garden. "Tell me, Ethan, what do you think of Xylaria so far?" Ethan looked around. "It is beautiful, different, but alive. I feel like I have never really been anywhere like this before. It is overwhelming in a good way." Lyra's eyes gleamed. "Good. It is meant to be overwhelming. You must learn to see clearly, even in places that seem strange or intimidating. That is the first test of your mind." Ethan nodded, listening carefully. He felt that everything Lyra said carried more than surface meaning. She seemed to test him not with words alone, but with her presence, her attention. Each glance was precise, each smile measured. He realized that she was watching not only what he said, but how he reacted, how he thought, how he moved. As they walked, Lyra stopped at a clearing where several alien creatures were practicing some form of combat. They moved gracefully, striking and dodging with perfect timing. Their bodies were strong, flexible, and fast. Ethan watched carefully. He could see that even minor mistakes were punished quickly. "Humans are not usually trained for this," Lyra said softly, watching him study the fighters. "But courage can make up for many things. I want to see how you react in a situation that tests both your mind and body. Are you ready?" Ethan took a deep breath. "I will do my best, Princess." Lyra nodded and motioned to a smaller group of fighters. "Try this. Observe them first, then participate. It is not meant to harm you, only to show your ability to adapt." Ethan stepped forward cautiously. He had never faced creatures like this before. They had long limbs, sharp claws, and eyes that seemed to see everything at once. Yet he could not let fear control him. He moved carefully, watching their patterns, noting how they attacked and how they defended. The first attempt was awkward. Ethan tripped slightly, but he recovered quickly. The creatures moved faster than he expected, yet he began to notice small patterns. One attacked from the left, another from the right. He dodged and blocked, using instinct and quick thinking. The creatures were surprised by his ability to adjust, to respond with unpredictability. Lyra observed quietly from the side. She did not intervene, only watched, her green eyes fixed on him. Ethan felt exposed, but he also felt a strange thrill. This was a challenge unlike anything Earth had ever given him. He had to rely on himself, on human adaptability, to survive and succeed. By the end of the training, Ethan had held his own. He was not perfect, but he had learned quickly, adapting to the movements and strength of the alien fighters. Lyra approached him, her expression calm but approving. "You are resourceful," she said softly. "More so than I expected. You have courage, but you also think. That is rare in humans. Most rely only on strength or cunning, but you combine both." Ethan felt a flush of pride. "Thank you, Princess. I am learning. Your people are impressive. I have never seen anything like this before." Lyra tilted her head slightly. "You are learning, yes. But you must also understand that learning is only part of survival here. Observation, caution, and timing are just as important. Humans are clever, yes, but cleverness alone does not always keep one alive." As they walked through the gardens, Lyra led Ethan to a crystal pool. The water glowed softly, and strange fish-like creatures swam beneath the surface. "This is Xylaria's heart," she explained. "It is a place where many come to think, to reflect. Humans often underestimate the power of thought in a world like ours. Actions without thought can be dangerous." Ethan nodded, understanding her meaning. "I see. You mean that courage and strength are not enough. We must also observe, understand, and plan." Lyra's lips curved into a faint smile. "Exactly. And humans, you are capable of more than you know. That is why I am interested in you, Ethan Parker. Most humans fail to surprise us. You do not." Ethan felt a jolt in his chest. Her words were soft, but they carried weight. He could feel her gaze on him, and he realized that he was shaking slightly. This was not fear alone. It was awe, and perhaps something more he could not yet name. "Do you find me strange?" he asked quietly. Lyra tilted her head, considering. "I find you different. Not in a bad way, but in a way that humans rarely are. You think you adapt, you do not panic as easily as I expected. That is unusual, and it draws my attention." Ethan swallowed hard. I try my best, Princess. That is all I can do." She nodded slowly. "Your best may be enough. Humans have a way of surprising us when we least expect it. Remember that. And remember—" She paused, her voice dropping to almost a whisper. "Never forget who I am." Ethan's heart pounded. He could not stop shaking slightly. Her words felt like a command, a warning, and an invitation all at once. He realized that his journey was not only about diplomacy, but about understanding a being far more powerful than himself, and earning her respect. The day passed with more training and observation. Ethan learned to move with the alien creatures, to anticipate attacks, and to use his human instincts in unexpected ways. Each success built his confidence, yet he never forgot Lyra's gaze, which followed him silently, always assessing. By the afternoon, Lyra led him to a terrace overlooking the palace city. The view was breathtaking. The city glowed with lights, and ships moved smoothly between towers and floating platforms. Ethan felt small, but alive, a human in a galaxy far larger and more powerful than Earth. "Humans think they are insignificant in the galaxy," Lyra said softly. "Yet you have courage, ingenuity, and determination. These are things we admire, even if we do not always show it." Ethan looked at her. I do not know if I am enough. This world, your people, it is more than I imagined." Lyra's green eyes softened. "You are enough, Ethan Parker. Sometimes it is not the size or strength that matters, but the courage to stand when others doubt you. Humans, You have a way of standing tall even when the odds are against you. That is why I am interested in you." Ethan felt a strange warmth. He could not explain it, but he felt both nervous and proud. The princess, with all her power and grace, had noticed him. She had acknowledged his courage and ability. It was more than he had expected, and yet it was only the beginning. As the sun set over the alien city, Ethan realized that his time on Xylaria would be filled with challenges, tests, and discoveries. He was a human among powerful aliens, and he had already begun to prove that humans were capable of more than they appeared. Lyra watched him from beside the terrace, her expression calm but unreadable. Ethan understood that this was only the first of many tests, both of skill and character. Yet he also understood something else. Lyra's attention was not easily won, and humans who survived her scrutiny were rare indeed. Ethan Parker took a deep breath. He would face the challenges of Xylaria with courage, intelligence, and determination. He would learn, adapt, and prove that humans could survive and thrive even in worlds far beyond their own. And he would never forget the words that had shaken him more than any test. "Have you forgotten who I am?" For the first time, he realized that his journey on Xylaria was not only about diplomacy, survival, or even courage. It was about earning trust, respect, and perhaps something more from an alien princess who saw beyond what humans could normally achieve. And he was ready to take that first step. The next morning, Ethan Parker woke with a mix of excitement and anxiety. He had grown used to the palace's strange beauty, but the weight of what lay ahead pressed on him. Today, the council had arranged a more serious test, one that would measure not just his intelligence and courage, but his ability to act under pressure. The humans had earned some respect, thanks to his first displays of skill and courage, but Ethan knew that this was only the beginning. He followed an escort of alien guards through the palace corridors. The walls seemed to pulse softly, as if alive, and the air carried the faint hum of energy flowing through the building. Ethan tried to keep calm, but his nerves tightened with each step. He was about to enter a part of the palace that few humans had ever seen, the council chambers, where decisions about life and death, war and peace, were made. Princess Lyra appeared at the entrance to the chamber, her presence commanding and calm. "Ethan Parker," she said softly, "today will show not only your courage, but your ability to remain steady when everything seems against you. Are you ready?" Ethan nodded, swallowing hard. "I will do my best, Princess." She gave a small, approving smile. "Your best has been impressive so far. But today will test more than skill. It will test your heart." Inside the council chambers, the atmosphere was tense. Alien nobles and officials filled the room, their expressions serious. Ethan could feel their curiosity and skepticism. Humans were still considered fragile and unpredictable, and many of the council members doubted whether one human could make any real difference in their world. The council leader, a tall figure with silver skin and eyes like molten gold, spoke. "Ethan Parker, humans claim to have courage and intelligence. You have shown some skill, but the galaxy is unforgiving. Today, you will face a challenge that will test your resourcefulness and bravery. You will navigate the labyrinth of Xylaria." Ethan blinked. "Labyrinth?" Lyra stepped closer, her voice calm but firm. "It is a series of chambers and passages filled with tests, physical, mental, and moral. You must find your way to the center. There, you will face the final challenge. Many aliens cannot complete it. Humans rarely even attempt it." Ethan felt a shiver. The labyrinth was notorious, even among the aliens. It was designed to break the weak and humble the overconfident. He had no choice, though. If he failed, humans might lose any respect they had earned here. Lyra placed a hand briefly on his shoulder. "Do not be afraid, Ethan. Fear is natural, but courage is what matters. Trust yourself. And remember, you have qualities that few in this galaxy possess. Ethan nodded, feeling the weight of her words. He stepped forward into the entrance of the labyrinth, a massive archway glowing with shifting symbols. As he crossed the threshold, the air changed. The light dimmed, and a soft hum filled the chamber. The first room was empty, except for a series of floating platforms that moved slowly. Ethan studied the platforms carefully. Each step required precision. One misstep could send him tumbling into the soft padded floor below, or worse, trigger a trap. He took a deep breath, focused, and began. The first few steps were difficult, but he adjusted quickly, timing his movements to match the rhythm of the platforms. His training, his instincts, and his human adaptability guided him. By the time he reached the other side, he felt more confident, though he knew the real challenges were still ahead. The next room tested his mind. A series of glowing symbols floated in the air, forming patterns that seemed random. A voice echoed softly in the chamber. Arrange the symbols in the correct order or remain trapped forever. Ethan studied the symbols. They were like nothing he had seen before, but he noticed patterns, small repetitions, symmetry, and logic. He moved carefully, touching the symbols and arranging them as he deduced the correct order. After several tense moments, the symbols glowed brightly and vanished. The door ahead opened. He exhaled, feeling a rush of relief and pride. The labyrinth was designed to test not only courage, but intelligence, observation, and calm under pressure. Ethan was learning quickly. The following chambers tested his agility, endurance, and resourcefulness. He climbed walls, dodged moving obstacles, and solved puzzles that required both logic and creativity. Each room seemed impossible at first, yet Ethan adapted. He learned to trust his instincts, to stay calm, and to think faster than the labyrinth could anticipate. After what felt like hours, he reached the final chamber. The air was still and heavy. In the center stood a pedestal with a glowing crystal. As Ethan approached, a holographic image appeared showing Lyra's face. "Congratulations, human," the image said. "You have made it this far. But one final choice remains. This test will show your heart." Ethan stepped closer, studying the pedestal. Around it were two buttons, one red and one blue. The instructions were simple but cryptic. Press 1. Choose wisely. The wrong choice may harm, the right choice will reveal truth. Ethan paused. His heart raced. He had no idea which button to press. He remembered Lyra's words: courage, intelligence, and heart. He thought carefully. He examined the buttons, their positioning, the faint vibrations in the pedestal. Then he remembered the trust she had shown him, the subtle signs of respect and belief in his abilities. He pressed the blue button. A soft light filled the room, and the holographic image of Lyra appeared again, this time in person. She stepped forward from the shadows, her expression calm but proud. "You have chosen well, Ethan Parker," she said softly. "This final test was not about strength or intelligence alone. It was about trust, understanding, and the ability to act with a clear heart." Ethan felt his knees weaken slightly. "Princess, I don't know what to say." Lyra smiled faintly. "You do not need to say anything. You have already proven that humans can rise to challenges that others would fail. You have courage, intelligence, and the ability to remain calm under pressure. That is rare." Ethan felt a wave of relief and pride. He had done it. He had faced the labyrinth, solved the puzzles, and proved himself in ways even Lyra had hinted were unlikely. As they walked back through the palace gardens, Lyra spoke softly. "Many aliens think humans are weak, but you have shown them the truth. Your people have qualities that cannot be measured by strength alone. You have heart, adaptability, and courage. That is why you are different." Ethan looked at her, feeling both nervous and honored. "Thank you, Princess. I only did what I could. I wanted to show that humans are capable." Lyra's green eyes studied him carefully. "You have done more than that. You have shown that humans can be trusted in ways that surprise even us. But remember, Ethan, this is only the beginning. Greater challenges lie ahead, and the galaxy is not always kind to those who are unprepared." Ethan nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. He had survived the labyrinth, but he knew that survival alone was not enough. He had to continue learning, adapting, and proving himself. That evening, Lyra invited him to a private terrace overlooking the city. The view was breathtaking. The alien city glowed with lights, ships moved smoothly between towers, and the sky shimmered with colors Ethan had never seen before. "You have done well today," Lyra said softly. "But I sense something else in you, Ethan Parker. You are not afraid to stand when others doubt you. You think quickly, act decisively, and trust yourself. That is what makes humans remarkable." Ethan felt a strange warmth in his chest. Her words were not just praise, they were acknowledgement. He had earned her respect, and perhaps even her trust. "Thank you, Princess. That means more than you know." Lyra's gaze softened. "Do not let it make you complacent. The galaxy will test you in ways you cannot imagine. But remember this: humans are unpredictable, clever, and courageous. That is why you are capable of great things here, and why I am intrigued by you." Ethan felt his heart skip a beat. Her words were soft, yet they carried weight, intention, and something he could not fully define. He realized that she had not just been testing him physically or mentally, she had been watching his heart, his character, his courage. I will not disappoint you," he said quietly, feeling the tremor in his voice. Lyra smiled faintly. "I do not expect perfection, Ethan Parker. I expect courage, adaptability, and honesty. And so far, you have given more than enough." As they watched the glowing city together, Ethan understood that his journey on Xylaria was far from over. He had faced trials, solved puzzles, and shown courage, but the galaxy was vast, and the challenges ahead would be greater. Yet for the first time, he felt a deep sense of purpose. Humans were capable of more than aliens often believed, and he would continue to prove it. And at the center of it all was Princess Lyra, whose presence, her calm authority, and her subtle admiration both challenged and inspired him. Ethan Parker was a human, small in the grand galaxy, but capable of surprising even the most powerful beings. And he would continue to rise step by step, proving that humans could stand tall even where others might falter.